The City Hong Kong Gold Cup, then the first of the two Group 1s. About to have a look at the race. But if you want a different view, if you're one of the jockeys as well, Matthew Chad will be on board Pakistan Star. Head to the website Multimedia Showcase, and there you will find HK Direct. And Matthew is the studio guest this week. High-class lineup, as you'd expect, for the 2,000-metre trip, headed by Time Warp, who was brilliant in the Cup on International Day. From the front, Zach Pert in the saddle. Worthy gets the blinkers back on. He was behind Seasons Bloom last time out. Pakistan Star, the much-anticipated return of the Rawalpindi Express. Seasons Blue won the first leg of the Triple Crown. Gold Mount, beaten favourite behind Donoso last time out. He was on a hat-trick himself. He's coming with barrier 2. Down to Lane Charisma, who went back at Happy Valley, but the last time he was in Group 1 company was in the Vase, and he went forward and made the running. We've made our way across to the touchscreen here, Brett, to have a look at the speed map and, well, fully expect to Time Warp to try and do what he did in the Cup itself and get out and get rolling.
Well, back to 2,000 metres, so it's going to be a higher possibility for him as opposed to the mile. He's drawn in barrier number 7, which I don't think will be an issue because he'll roll over. Werther has got blinkers back on. Interesting to note. He's going to probably be a little bit handier, but he's going to no doubt let Time Warp roll on. The big question runner in the race is this guy here, Lane Charisma. Now, he's drawn outside of Time Warp, barrier 8. So if Time Warp rolls and Lane Charisma wants to roll over with him, he could eventually sit outside of Time Warp, maybe even pressure him a little bit, not let him get that easy run out in front, may even surge on and try and take the lead. He is a horse that has rolled forward in the past. I think that's a potential possibility of happening in this race. If that happens, Werther gets the lovely run. Pakistan Star, let's hope he jumps well, because in the early days he was a horse that was very slow out of the gates. I think Donoso will get the spot ahead of him, because he bolted up last start, deserves his chance at Group 1.
Fascinating race here, Paul. How have they looked in the morning?
Yeah, they've looked, well, as you can imagine, Group 1 horses, they all look very good. Werther's really been sharpened up with these blinkers on. Jeezy's been going well. You can see him closest to us there, 83, just working with Primero, who's generally a really good worker, and he's just really pushed to keep up with Werther. The blinkers have definitely sharpened him, no question. Bit of show Pakistan Star. Now, he's going to have race in blinkers for the first time in his life, without blinkers, I should say. They come off. So that's a little bit of a change for him. Really like this piece of work from Gold Mountain. It maybe a little bit disappointing last start, but he's sort of really perked up, this horse. Thought it was a really nice piece from him. Alvanong aboard now. Christoph Superman, he'll be jumping aboard on race day.
Christoph who?
Superman. That's his nickname, isn't it?
Christoph Superman.
It is now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's start off with Time Warp and his chances. Can he get back to that Cup form? And he was brilliant that day. Jockey, Zach Pert.
In the Gold Cup, Zach, Time Warp, you're back on him. What did you make of his last run? Is it fair to say it was disappointing?
It's probably unfair to say it was disappointing. It's, things just didn't go right. I'd only had one previous ride on him on International Day, and that day he was quiet as a lamb. He didn't do anything wrong, so I didn't expect that he was going to play up in the gates like he did. And to be honest, he stood there very quiet, except when the gate opened, he just jumped in the air. So now that I'm aware of that and I've been able to ride him in another couple of trials, we've changed a couple of things and hopefully we've rectified that and it won't happen again. Yeah,
because in the trials he didn't have that problem in the gates, did he?
No, I'd never seen him do it before, so he caught me completely unaware, and then once that happened, he was just caught out of position in the whole race.
What about the dynamics of this race? In the Hong Kong Cup, you're allowed a fairly easy time out in front. Do you think that will be the same again, or will the likes of Werther not allow that to be the case?
I'd say Werther would probably put a little bit more pressure on me early. And then John Mace and Lane Charisma forward as well. You don't know what he would be thinking, but I don't think that they're probably going to let him have it as easy out in front as what he had it last time. But I feel if they do put a little bit of pressure on him, he should still be able to handle it anyway.
Let me ask you about a couple of your rivals. Gold Mount, was that a difficult decision to ride Time Warp over Gold Mount, or is he superior?
They're both very good horses. They're both racing very well. Gold Mount's just had a few little things go wrong for him in each of his races this season, and being a back marker, that quite often happens. It's very hard to get off Time Warp after the performance he put up on International Day, and just his racing style as well. He's going to be out there giving himself every chance, and if I can go slow in front, well, it's going to make it hard for him.
And finally, the hype horse, he's back, Pakistan Star.
Yeah, I've always said I thought he was the best mile and a quarter horse we had here in Hong Kong. I think now that he's had that break, that little bit of time off, he seems as if he's furnished a little bit more. It may have actually been a good thing for him. The way he put Werther away in the trial the other day was quite scary. If he reproduces that, then, we may not be able to beat him anyway.
There you go. Zach's covered about half the field for us there, but Time Warp gets out and gets rolling. He's hard to run down.
Definitely. Yeah, he's a very serious horse. Back to 2000's better. Gold Mount, Eagle Way for me, look, champions and chater types, the 1.5 miles as opposed to the 1.25 miles, so that probably suits them a little bit better. Pakistan Star, always been a very serious horse. When you go back and look at those early sectionals that he ran and what he did on debut and in his second start, let's hope he can run truly.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a really good race. Looking forward to it, and I think I wouldn't be surprised Lane Charisma did go forward.
All right, OK. I think Super Sumi as well. I don't know about Superman, but Super Sumi, I think they call him that.
Okay.
But anyway, we're not going to argue over those things, are we? Let's go back to the first leg of the Triple Crown, the Stewards Cup. And this, of course, over a mile, so is always going to suit Seasons Bloom. He's an outstanding 1,600-metre horse, but huge effort from Werther here. And also, well, Zach touched on Time Warp's run there himself.
Yeah, well, the thing with Time Warp was he missed the start and was on the back foot, wasn't he? It's a good run here from Werther. Seasons Bloom obviously came out and won this race. There's a big question mark for me over the 2,000 metres for him. Werther, I think, is cherry ripe. The blinker's gone back on, has really sharpened him up, so I think he's the one to beat.
Yeah, I sort of go back to the run of Seasons Bloom in the Derby. You know, would he finish 4th behind Beauty Generation, Pakistan Star, Rapid Dragon? I think it stretches him, the 2,000. But he gets another opportunity at it here, a little bit more mature physically, so you can't write him off completely, but the record suggests that the others should have his measure. So with that in mind, I'll be citing Werther out of that replay we're looking at there. Blinkers go back on. Interesting, Werther won the Derby, the QE2 Cup with the blinkers on, and that run last start I thought was good at the shorter trip without them.
Yeah, all right, so only 3/4 length behind him, very hard to beat here. Donoso, this was a good effort from him last time. He's on a hat-trick here, he'll do very well to land it, of course. But this was the race where he beats Gold Mount, who was favourite. He finishes second. You've got Eagle Way, who's coming off a good win at Happy Valley, and Secret Weapon, who just really hasn't quite hit his old form.
No, he hasn't. Donoso stole this race, I thought. He just dictated very nicely from the back. Gold Mount had too much to do. He did hit the line strongly enough. I expect... look, I really liked his track work, Gold Mount. I think he's on the improve. He's very fit. I don't think he's far away. And Secret Weapon's one you couldn't take at the moment.
For me, Eagle Way and Gold Mount both need a breakneck pace to be able to get over the top of these horses at 2,000. Donoso, I don't think, has got the class. He had a good season last time in. He's had a great season this time in. He gets his opportunity and deserves it, but whether or not pound for pound at set weights, he's got what needs to be there against these, you know, proven Group 1 horses already.
All right, well, let's have a look at Pakistan Star. This was the trial that got him into the race. It is a trial, of course, but take note of the way he runs here with Werther just on his inside without the blinkers and Seasons Bloom just having a run round as well.
Be very interesting to hear what Jenny has to say about Pakistan Star because he'll weigh in at 1172 pound. He's 42 pound heavier than the last time he raced, which was 8 months ago. Now, whether that's a little bit of blubber or whether it's muscle, we're yet to know until Jenny gives us the report. But I get the feeling it might be the latter. I think he might have really solided up. There's evidence here in this trial that he's, despite not having raced for 8 months, really purring along at the moment within himself. We know mentally as well he's more switched on too. That was a very good trial. Of course, race fitness is not there, as we know, Andrew, highest level. But he was a serious horse as a young horse. He might even be better, as Zach Purton mentioned. It's a bit of a guessing game, but let's just hope he puts a true run in and then we'll know more.
Yeah, can't really add too much more to that. It looks like he hasn't missed any work anyway, so he's fit.
All right, OK. How brave are you, Paul?
Well, I'm going to go with Werther, though.
Right.
No, not that brave. I'm going to put him in on top. Werther with the blinkers on looks very tough, and he's going for 3 in a row with this particular race. I'll put him in for second, though, Pakistan Star, because if everything goes right for him, he can, you know, he's obviously got all the class. He's just got a few mental issues. Gold Mount from the back will run on. Time Warp, I think they'll take him on, so I'll put him in there for 4th. 2, 3, 7, 1, but I like Werther. I'll be backing him to win.
Yeah, I'm going to tip him as well. I mentioned before he won the Derby, the QE2 Cup. He also won this race last year, running over blazing speed in the final stride to win the Gold Cup. I think Werther can win, I think Time Warp can win, and I think Pakistan Star can win. Any one of those three, Seasons Bloom in for 4th. For the reason I mentioned, any one of those three, I'm going to play the QQP. Simple as 1, 2, 3.
There you go. Werther for me as well. Hoping for a really big run from Pakistan Star, but first up for 8 months against this bunch is going to be very, very tough.